it's also other people. And I actually wanted to bail out right before going on stage. And then my sister kind of pushed me on stage. And then I did it. It went well, played for an hour. And that was, for me, the first time I was like, okay, maybe this is actually something that I want to continue with.
What was the holdback that you thought, oh, maybe it's not for me?
Many times. Also recently, like, it's a weird industry. Like, as an outsider, you would think it's just, oh, it's music, but it's so much more. You're basically running a company, you're paying people to do things, there's so many people involved, pressure, so.
Your first hit record was a Feel Good, right?
Yeah.
But the one that kind of reached like a huge global audience of 147 million streams. I want to ask you about the feeling that you had behind making this production. Was it a good feeling?
It was a good feeling, yeah. It was. I remember back then it was more. I wasn't really thinking about where this track should be played or like what kind of audience. I was very. Yeah, how you say it, like very open-minded. I just wanted to make cool music. And that changes after a while. Then you're just thinking too much about, yeah, this should be a track for radio, blah, blah, blah. But I think in that time still, I was just making music, and then that turned out.
In terms of the thought process now, when you have like, okay, I've reached this audience, 70 million. And then if you see the numbers slightly drop, what's the feeling? Do you think like, oh, did I make it, or what did I do wrong, or does it impact the way you think when you create music?
Yeah, it's very difficult because you have peaks and you have very low ends as well.
But don't get me wrong, like 65 or 55 million streams is
but no, I get what you
amazing.
mean.
But it's just like you see those differences, and it's like, is that affecting you?
Of course, yeah. If you release a track and it doesn't really do as good as the one before, then you're gonna think, or is it the track, or is it the time, or not the right audience? I don't know. You're gonna question yourself a lot. That is really affecting you and the way you make music, the way you think during the production process as well. That all has an influence on it.
And how do you overcome these challenges?
You just have to keep going, and I think the most important thing is quality of music. Just make sure the quality is high, and then a track can not do well, but as long as you think the quality is good, then I think you should just be happy.
I think your audience appreciate the quality because you reach so many people, and that says a lot. And also you play festivals like Ultra and Tomorrowland. And how's to play in front of like so many people? What's the feeling?
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. Especially the first times that you standing there, it's like, whoa, that was a dream when I was younger. I was just dreaming of this. And it still gives me a kick and a rush, and for sure.
What are the pros and cons performing on the stages like this?
Well, I think it's really cool to just be able to play your music and also test out new things and see the reaction from people. It gives you a lot of energy. Also, going back in the studio, you can bring that energy along and make new music. Downside is, I mean, I would say also like traveling, being tired, pressure. There's always things going wrong. But yeah, mostly it's pretty nice.
But how do you take care of yourself? When you're on the spot, you kind of need to deliver the feeling and translate this to your audience, right? So that takes a lot of toll and energy. So how you recover during the week? What's your procedure to go back into the center in order to thrive and have the smile that you have?
I mean, I think it's important to, like see friends, family, to chill, have a very steady home environment, take enough rest, but also like, since 2 years, I have a coach where I can talk to. She knows the music industry as well, so it's really important also to talk about things and process things after touring. If you've been traveling for a long time, you also need some time to process that.
Can you imagine your life without music?
No. I don't think, I mean, touring is fun, but there's probably gonna be a point that you're gonna do less or you're gonna stop. But I think making music, I'm never gonna stop doing that. In what way, or I don't know, yeah.
What was the most surprising thing that happened during your career? For example, I don't know, working with the artists that you inspired to previously and meeting them, or is there any, do you remember or recall any moment like that? That you were like, damn,
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
here working with this dude.
Yeah, no, there's a point you work with artists that you dreamed of working with. So yeah, suddenly you're in a studio with Hardwell or Chesto, or you're at an after party from the Chainsmokers. Like this, like weird stuff going on suddenly, especially when you're touring in the US. So that's fun, and sometimes you just have to give yourself some slaps, and then you're like, oh wow, yeah.
Do you have any artists in mind that you would like to work with? Like,
I would say I would probably not do it in like the dance industry, but more like bands like Coldplay would be super cool.